Did you know that slugs and snails are the same thing? Slugs are the snails that have lost their shells during evolution. So these creatures are hermaphrodite, just like slugs. And most of them are dickheads too. There are over 60,000 species of snails, and they are found everywhere on Earth, even in Antarctica, just like the PFAS. Snails can walk on the blade or sharp knife's edge without taking damage. And there are some snails that can walk on water too.
Jesus Christ.
Some snails, like cone snails, are venomous and are cannibals. They shoot harpoon-like tooth to kill their prey or kill other cone snails. Smallest snail can fit in the hole of a needle, whereas the biggest are almost a meter-long, 40-pound giants. Most of the snails have over 14,000 teeth. And the weird thing is they have teeth in their tongue. This guy, the limpet, has just around 1,900 teeth. But it's made from the hardest material ever known in biology. You may have heard spider silk is stronger than steel, but the teeth of limpets are stronger than titanium. Yup, if cats had those teeth, they would be the most dangerous animals on the planet. Snails are heavy sleepers and can sleep straight for 3 years. Their life is just around 9 years, and they sleep 1/3 of their life. Then again, who are we to judge? We do the same thing. This is a polar bear, and I'm not joking. Just the hairs are removed. The skin of a polar bear is dark, just like a brown bear, but it's covered in white fur. Or is it? Actually, the hairs of a polar bear are translucent, colorless, and are hollow, like a straw. The air inside the hairs scatter light in such a way that we see it white, just like how snow looks white. I bet most of you didn't know that snow is a colorless thing. This is a real picture of a snowflake. Polar bears are marine mammals, like whales and seals. They spend more than half their life in water. They even have webbed feet and can swim non-stop for hundreds of miles, up to 9 days. Polar bears eat seals. Since seals have a high content of vitamin A, the liver of the polar bear contains so much vitamin A that it can kill 52 people. Sometimes people get confused if polar bears live in the Arctic or Antarctic region. Just remember this. The word Arctic means bear, and Antarctic means no bear. The penguins live in that land, so naturally, it's impossible for a polar bear to meet a penguin. And let's not forget the mating part. There are several records of polar bear mating with grizzly bears. The babies are called pizzly or grolar, depending on either the polar bear is male or female. Talking about penguins, how long can you stay like this, in a squat position? A few seconds? Or maybe a couple of minutes? This is a penguin skeleton, and yes, this is how they stand their entire life. Well, who am I to judge when you are judged by nature itself? Penguins drink salty seawater and eat salty seafood, like fish and shrimps. So they have a gland above their eyes that separates salt from water and throws it away from the beak. Penguins are great jumpers. Penguins like emperor penguin and Adelie penguins can jump around 10 feet directly from water. That's the height of one-story building. Also, the chicks of emperor penguins can jump into water 50 feet below. Talking about kids, if a mother penguin has just lost her chick, she kidnaps other's chick when parents are distracted and takes it with her. After a week, she loses interest, leaves the chick, and walks away. In most cases, the chick dies. Some emperor penguins just leave the area and waddle towards the mountains of Antarctica. If you carry them back, they will again go towards it. Nobody knows where they go or why they do that. Maybe they were rejected by all the females, and they want to die in peace. Who knows? And they are poopers. They poop every 20 minutes or so. Talking about pooping, these guys almost never poop, and use all the food they eat as energy, kinda like Kim Jong-un. This happens when God forgets to give you a mouth, and attaches a straw longer than your body. They are such a weird creatures that they smell with the antenna and taste with their feet. There are more than 17,000 species of butterflies, and they come in every configuration. Their size ranges from tiny 2-centimeter puny flies to almost a foot-long mammoths. Some species like pipevine and monarch are poisonous. Monarch butterflies even migrate to a 3,000-mile-long journey. We'll talk about monarch in the mating video. Butterflies drink sap and flower nectar, but sometimes they will drink muddy water, poop, sweat, urine, and even blood. It's for the nutrients and salts they don't get from flowers. So, yes, butterflies drinking blood is a real thing. Harvester butterflies are kinda carnivores. They suck poop of aphids. Aphids are sap-sucking insects, by the way. But the caterpillars completely eat those bugs. Talking about caterpillars, they have 4,000 muscles in their body, and we humans just have 629. You all know a caterpillar enters a cocoon and emerges out as a butterfly. But you may not know that after entering the cocoon, it first turns into liquid puddle, and then starts the butterfly formation. But the interesting thing is, butterflies still have the memory from when they were caterpillars. And we think we are the memory kings. What a shame. You all have seen crows, and it's among the most intelligent species on Earth. Crows know what it means to die. So they actually think before doing something, unlike us. They even attend the funeral of their lost relatives and friends and mourn for some time. They will even examine the dead, kind of like post-mortem, and try to figure out the cause of the death so that they can avoid it next time. And if a crow kills any fellow member or a friend, it will be executed by the group. That's a death penalty for murder. That may be the reason why a group of crows is called murder. Crows are highly social creatures. Adult crows leave the group to start their own life. But they visit their parents once in a while to check on how they're doing. They even help their parents raise their eggs. And crows are usually monogamous, meaning they have one partner for life. They are actually better than us when it comes to relations. If you ever help or hurt a crow, it will return the favor. It will bring you shiny objects or its own feather as a token of gratitude, or dive bomb you as token of revenge. It will remember your face for 5 years, even if you are wearing a mask. And it can share your face info with other crow workers as well. So it is possible that you hurt one crow today, and its friend will hurt you after a few days. Researchers even believe they can share the person's info with the next generation too. This is a rabbit, and they are very efficient eaters, meaning they convert food to body mass in a very efficient way. It's because they eat their own poop. Yup, all rabbits do that, and they do it every day. They have 2 kinds of poops. One is just poop, small round ones, but another is nutritional poop, called night poop. Since that poop has nutrition, they poop it directly in their mouth, kinda like this, bending mouth directly to anus. So most owners don't even see this poop. It may seem gross, but rabbits can't vomit. If they eat something poisonous by mistake, it can't be taken out. Rabbits' teeth never stop growing, and they need rough thing to grind their teeth. If they don't eat hay or grass for a long time, their teeth will go through their skull. So, don't feed them fruits or carrots as the main food. It's soft and dangerous for them, and this is misleading. Rabbits don't bark or meow. They communicate through jumping and thumping. Like, this may mean it's happy, and this may mean it's pissed off, or something like that. I don't know. I'm actually bad at Morse code. They have almost 360 degrees vision, but can't see in front of their nose. Rabbits have a super sense of smell, but they can smell through the mouth as well. If the nose is smell pro, then the mouth is smell pro max. Rabbits are fragile animals. If you scare a rabbit with sudden loud noise, it can instantly die of heart attack. And for mating, they are among the fastest breeders in the world, and we'll talk about that in mating series. This is not an axolotl, neither this nor this. Don't worry, even I was confused at this point. Because when we see this shape, the feathery gills, long tail, and that baby face, we think it's an axolotl. Axolotls are salamanders, and they have over 700 species. So most of their babies look just like this. If all these look the same, why are only these guys the celebrities? Well, when they grow up, they change to these. But when axolotls grow up, they change to this. Yup, they never grow up and stay in their larval life forever. But many people don't know that in very rare cases, they actually change to adult salamanders. Axolotls are naturally found in only one place on Earth, near Mexico City, in Lake Xochimilco. They are super regenerative. If you cut its limb, it grows back. The tail, brain, heart, lungs, and even the spinal cord grow back like nothing happened. So, they've been lab rats for over 150 years, in hopes that one day, humans too can regrow lost limbs. But so far, the only thing that's been growing is the scientist's beard. Axolotls are nature's Frankenstein. If you cut its leg and stitch it to slightly different place, it will actually fuse and function. And sometimes, a new leg grows from the original place, making it five-legged axolotl. So, scientists have been trying to create a full-blown chimeras, and I hope it doesn't turn like Hunter x Hunter. They tried attaching legs to the back, take cousin's tail and attach it, fuse the siblings, and even tried to make two-headed axolotls. In one case, a hole began forming in the neck to accept a second head, but the body healed too fast, and the extra head fell off. But so far, the only thing regenerating at a promising rate is still that beard. This is a bat. You may all know it's the only mammal that can fly. You may also know there are some blood-eating bats. But did you know there is a bat that goes fishing? Yup, bulldog bats dive in water and catch fish, just like some birds. There are around 1,400 species of bats, and most of them live over 20 years. This 7 grams guy holds the record for living 41 years. Even this 3-gram bumblebee bat lives for around 10 years. For comparison, cows being over 1,000 pounds live for just around 20. Bats are the mammals with the largest gathering. There can be over 20 million bats in Bracken Cave in Texas. You all know bats hang upside down, but did you know that bats give birth upside down too? The female makes a nest-like shape with her wings, and a newborn falls in that net. The surprising thing is, babies can be up to 1/3 the mother's weight. For comparison, that's a 150-pound human female giving birth to a 6-year-old kid. Okay, since bats are mammals, they feed milk to the babies. But bats are the only animals I know where males can feed milk. Yup, the male Dayak bats found in Southeast Asia have a working mammary gland and feed milk to offspring. Who needs a mom when papa's got the milk, I guess? Bats are the fastest mammals on Earth. Mexican free-tailed bats can fly at a speed of 100 miles per hour. They fly more than 100 miles while strolling for dinner every day. This guy, Cheetah, doesn't even hold a candle against this bat. And the last fact, some species of bats practice this. Yup, and we'll talk about that in the mating video. This is a shark, and they are amazing creatures. Their skeleton is not made from bones, but cartilage, and their skin is like sandpaper. The whole skin is covered in tooth-like, spiky scales. In a sense, you can call them ancient dragons. Talking about ancient, they are so ancient that they are older than dinosaurs, older than trees, and even older than the rings of Saturn. Also, there are some sharks called Greenland sharks that live for around 500 years. They live so long that they reach sexual maturity at the age of 150. We would have completed 5 generations by the time one Greenland shark gets mature. Sharks are silent killers, and they lack vocal cords or any other sound-producing organs. But just 2 months ago, scientists heard sharks making clicking sounds. But they still don't know where that Morse code came from. If you flip a shark, it will get into a temporary paralyzed state called tonic immobility and won't move for a couple of minutes. I heard orcas found out about that secret and started flipping them for easy hunting and eating their liver before they wake up. There are over 530 species of sharks. Dwarf lantern sharks are 8 inches in length, whereas whale sharks are the biggest fish in the ocean, reaching 60 feet in length. The other big fish are basking sharks and megamouth sharks, but none of them are dangerous. It may look like these giants can easily swallow a bull, but they eat fish eggs, marine larvae, anchovies, small jellyfish, and microscopic planktons. So much for the big mouth, I guess. Sharks have several rows of sharp teeth, and they look really dangerous, but they are actually among the safest creatures for humans. And I'm not joking. Records show that in 2024, only 4 people lost their lives because of shark attacks. Even cows kill over 100 people every year globally. In fact, more people die of falling coconut than by shark attacks. We think of them as this, when they kill 6 humans per year. Just imagine, what would they think of us if they knew we kill over 100 million of them every year? Must be at least this, I guess. This is a vulture, and these bald guys eat dead and decaying animals. Many people see them as gross birds and hate them, but they are actually more sanitary than most of you are. And I'm not joking. They are bald because they have to poke their heads inside the carcass. If the head has hair, the rotten meat will stick to the head. Also, they pee on their own legs. They attach their cloaca to the upper part of their legs and secrete white paste-like uric acid. It then slowly falls all over the lower legs. It helps to kill microbes and bacteria in the legs and stop the spreading of diseases, kind of like a sanitizer. It also helps them to lose heat and stay cool. Vultures have very strong stomach acid, with pH value just above 0. It's so acidic that if they eat animals with anthrax, cholera, or even rabies, those diseases will die in their stomach. Bearded vultures are the only vertebrates to eat bone as their main diet. They can gallop bones of lambs in one go. If the bone is from a big mammal, they will carry it to the sky and drop it in the rocks. This will break the bone into a bite-sized meal, and then it will eat those pieces. They can digest the bones within 24 hours. When turkey vultures are threatened, they throw vomit as self-defense. It can reach 10 feet far. Vultures are a vital part of our ecosystem. The decline in the vulture population in India in 2001 caused deaths of over 500,000 people within 5 years. The main cause was the spread of diseases. If you don't like vultures, just imagine this. We dump more than 18 billion domestic animals in the fields every year. They rot, decay, degrade the soil, and pollute the air and water sources. It gives rise to numerous diseases like salmonella, anthrax, fungal infections, rabies, and plagues. And who do you think cleans our dirty mess? Just remember, you guys are healthy because these guys have been eating your diseases. This tree-hugging Australia's icon is a koala. They are arboreal, meaning they mostly eat, sleep, and even mate on trees. When the tree is out of good leaves, they climb down from that tree, stay on land for some time, and climb the next tree. They sleep for around 20 hours a day, and as soon as they wake up, they start grazing. Koalas usually don't drink water. The word koala means no water or no drink. They get the required water from eucalyptus leaves. But these green petals have a very low amount of starch, sugar, and fat, so they get almost no energy from it. On top of that, it's super hard to digest, and very toxic too. If you eat one meal of koalas, you may not wake up to see the next day. Since they get very low energy from their food, they try to conserve it. Even the energy for the brain is limited to basic tasks like walking, eating, and mating. That's the reason why people say these guys are the dumbest animals. But koalas don't mind it. The insult will just slip over their head. Just look at these brains, and look at a koala's brain. During the evolution, their unused brain shrank to 60% of its original size. And the folds disappeared to decrease the brain area. And what was the reason for all this? The toxic eucalyptus leaves. Now they have become so clueless that if you give already picked leaves to a koala, it will die of hunger, but won't eat those leaves. It won't even understand it's the same thing. Koalas are usually slow animals, but many people don't know that koalas can run at 20 miles per hour in case of threat or emergencies. Koalas have fingerprints just like us. It's so similar to humans that if there is koala's fingerprint in crime scenes, it can mislead the whole investigation. Koalas, being marsupials, carry babies in their pouches and feed milk to their babies. When the baby is around 6 months old, the mother feeds her poop to the baby for 2 weeks. Babies don't have bacteria in their gut to digest eucalyptus leaves. If they eat leaves, they will die. So pap is required to create a bacteria gut to process and digest the leaves. Though these guys look like teddy bears, you shouldn't call them koala bears. It's like calling these guys monkey humans. Well, you get the point, I guess. This is a bee, and word around the town is that they make honey. But there are more than 20,000 species of bees, and 96% of them actually don't make honey. Since bees eat flower nectar and pollen, they are nature's best pollinating agents. In fact, around 60% of the food you eat is pollinated by the bees. So, if they go extinct, over 60% of flowering plants may go extinct with them. But all the bees don't eat nectar. There are some bees called vulture bees that eat rotten meat. Some say they make meat honey. I'm not sure of that though. But again, I'm not going to test it anyway. Bees have 5 eyes and can see UV light. But they can't see red though. They have 170 smell receptors in their antenna, and their sense of smell is 50 times more powerful than dogs. They have even been trained to search bombs and landmines from the scent of TNT. Bees are small but intelligent creatures. They can do simple math like addition and subtraction. Bees have very small wings compared to their body. So, bees flap their wings more than 200 times per second to fly. You may have heard that bees die after they sting, but only the worker honeybees and few other species die from that. In fact, 99.9% bees don't die after they sting. When a honeybee stings, it releases a chemical that acts as distress signal or warning for other bees. If any other bees smell that, they quickly gather around the hive for defense and will sting at the scent source. The weird thing is, the smell of ripe banana has the same kind of chemical and smells like their alert signal. So, if you eat banana near the hive, there's a high chance you will get stung by the bees. And talking about the hive, bees are not allowed to poop inside the hive. But queen bee is the exception. Well, she's the queen. She can set her own rules, I guess. Bees have two stomachs, kind of. One muscular sac normally called the honey stomach for storing nectar, and another main stomach for digestion. Making honey is a hard job. The forager searches for nectar and brings it home. Then it throws up directly into another worker's mouth. It keeps it for 20 to 30 minutes and throws up in another's mouth. The process continues until the final guy throws up in the hexagon wax. A bee makes less than a gram of honey in its lifetime. That means around 560 bees need to suck juice from over 2 million flowers and fly more than 55,000 miles in total to make a pound of honey. That's flying around the world more than twice. But the good thing is, honey doesn't go bad. Researchers say that 5,000 years old honey found in Georgia is still edible. Well, I'm not going to taste that either. This guy is a camel, and they visually come in two configurations. Dromedaries, with one hump, and Bactrian, with two humps. Camels are the pride of Arabia. In fact, there are more than 160 words in the Arabic language to call a camel. You all know they are the king of desert. But you may not know they have a natural chest pad that helps them keep cool while resting in that hot sand. If you mess with a camel, it will spit in your face. You may know camels eat grass, but just look at this fang. They have the bite force to easily break your skull. Be glad if it just spits on you. Camel hooves are flat and big at the bottom, like snowshoes. They have humps to store fats that can be used during food shortage, and the pedestal to separate the body from the floor while resting, and all these are adaptation for the cold winter environment. But what gives? They're the animals of the desert. Well, camels actually originated from North America, where there used to be long, cold winters. Later they traveled to sand areas and found that their cold weather gears worked in heat too. So, they stayed in the desert. Dromedaries are usually found in dry deserts areas, but Bactrian are found in the Gobi Desert, where temperatures can go as low as -40 degrees Celsius and as high as 45 degrees Celsius. Camels eat thorny cactus leaves, and they do it regularly. But if grass, cactus, or food are scarce, they will even eat meat, fish, snakes, and bones of dead animals too. They are weird herbivores that can digest meat. Well, no comments here. They can live without water for more than a week, and when they find water, they can drink around 100 liters in one go. They can carry a weight of 450 kilograms in that harsh desert and travel 40 kilometers in a day. That's over 250 kilometers without drinking water. Damn, these are the toughest mammals for sure. This is an ant, and these guys are really some fascinating creatures. Though they are tiny, they are really intelligent. Some species of ants, like Myrmica, can actually pass the mirror test. Even intelligent animals like dogs and cats usually don't pass this test. Not only that, ants remember the place, structure, and routes to reach it. They navigate remembering the landmarks and watching the sun's position. Some species of desert ants are even found to count the steps and change in direction during the expedition. On top of that, group of ants can solve complex puzzles too. Ants have blurry vision, but can see UV and polarized light. They don't have ears, but they can detect even minute vibrations with their feet. Ants are usually omnivores. They eat seeds, nectar, insects, and decaying matter too. These little auto-cleaning robots are miniature versions of vultures. They help to keep the place clean and healthy. Army ant species are kinda blind. They sense just light and dark. So during the foraging, if the leader suddenly disappears, or if the pheromone trail is disturbed, the ants at front may catch the pheromones of ants at the back and start following them. Now they follow each other and the circle is formed. It's called ant mill, or death spiral. This can lead to exhaustion and death. Megapanera ants fight with termites. During the battle, if the ant gets injured, the medics take them to the nest and lick the injuries. The antimicrobial secretion from the mouth keeps the infection away. They can actually decrease the mortality by 90% with this process. Ants have their own graveyard. If any member dies, the undertaker takes them to the graveyard and leaves the body there. Many species have a separate place as toilet as well. This species is a honeypot ant. More than 20% of the workers in this colony act as storage units. They are called repletes. The foragers gather flower nectar, food, water, or any other sugary liquid and bring back home. Then they force feed those repletes, drop by drop, until their bellies turn grape-sized. The different liquid gives different color to the bellies. This will act as the food and water storage for the time of shortage. These guys will live their entire life as water bottles, though. Bonk. You all know chicken. These birds are found almost everywhere on the planet, mostly as a food source. Talking about food, do you know over 72 billion chickens are eaten every year? It's actually kind of sad to hear. And talking about hearing, you all may have heard this sound. Roosters scream their ass out when they crow. They yell so loudly that it's comparable to a gunshot near your ears. So every time they crow, they practically deafen themselves to save their ears from being damaged. There are some species of chickens, like Ayam Cemani, that are completely black. Even their organs, like liver, heart, and bones, are black. They are black to the core, I guess. But the blood is red, though. When chickens are born, they already have all the eggs they will ever lay in their lifetime, in a miniature ova form, that is. If the ovary of a hen is damaged, the body starts producing male hormones, and the hen physically changes to a rooster, with a big crown and loud crow. It's just the outer change, though. She's still female, but infertile one. The chickens are omnivores. From grass and food grains to insects, lizards, and even snakes, they eat almost anything that they can swallow. But you may not know that they also eat small stones called grit. Since they don't have teeth, the grits help to break the food inside the body. Chickens are very intelligent animals. They can remember around 100 different faces. They can do simple math, make plans for the future, and even deceive the members of the group if that benefits them. Chickens are social animals. They feel empathy and have been seen to mourn, gathering around the deceased member. Chickens are the natural motion stabilizer. The image stabilization was actually inspired from the stable chicken's head. If you hold its head in the ground and draw a straight line, the chicken will be hypnotized and won't move for some time. It's called tonic immobility, just like flipping the sharks. Chickens are the closest relatives to T-Rex, the king of dinosaurs. And I'm not surprised. Just see the stance, the fearless attitude, and the crown. I personally think it's the king of all the birds still today, except for a fact that a sudden loud sound can actually kill a chicken. Well, even the king has a weakness, I guess. This guy is a panda, and they are among the oldest creatures on the planet. Why? Because they're black and white. Jokes aside, these guys are among the weirdest creatures you can find. Pandas are members of the bear family. In fact, they even look like bears. Just paint them all black, and voila, it's a black bear. But seriously, these guys have carnivore's stomach, just like bears. But 99% of their diet is bamboo leaves and shoots. It's like you have a Ferrari, but you use it for pizza delivery. And the remaining 1%, they eat meat, fish, and insects, if they find it lying on the ground, that is. Since their stomach is carnivore, they don't easily digest bamboo. So they poop around 100 times a day. Maybe it's the reason why they never hibernate. Pandas are found only in China, and China never sells them to other countries. So you can't keep a panda as a pet unless you are a king and have a huge bamboo forest. But China does loan pandas to zoos all around the world. Since it's a loan, both the sum and the interest are Chinese property. That's the contract a zoo must sign before taking the loan. But the interest is very hard to come by. In fact, pandas have no interest in mating, at least in captivity. So, panda birth in captivity is weirdly hard thing to come by. People say that pandas have evolved to go extinct. It even seems logical at first. Just think, they are very slow animals. They don't hunt. They eat the indigestible bamboo plant. And females enter heat just for 2 or 3 days in a year. So all these factors combined may seem they will soon go extinct. But the fact is, pandas in the wild do just fine. The abundant bamboo forest, lack of predators, and even the 2 to 3 days of heat period is enough for breeding. In fact, they mate multiple times during that short period and bear successful, healthy babies. Almost all female animals go into heat just a few times a year. So, according to the natural laws, we are the weird ones here, always hot, no matter what. This guy is a sea cucumber, and they come in many shapes and sizes. Smallest cucumbers like Samathuria gampati can get as small as 4 millimeters, and the biggest snake sea cucumber can get as long as 10 feet. But in any length, they are brainless, faceless creatures. Yup. Sea cucumbers neither have brains nor have eyes. They have chemical receptors and just wander in the ocean following the chemicals. They have tentacles in their mouth and they eat ocean dirt, kinda like earthworm. But the most interesting thing in their whole body is this hole. Yup, this gateway is the lifeline of these guys because they breathe through their butts. They suck oxygenated water from the cloaca and expel the carbon dioxide water. Their butt is a multi-purpose tool. When threatened, they throw out their guts from that same hole to confuse the predators. But they can regenerate those internal organs. This hole is so famous that pearlfish, slender, and some eel-type fish actually live inside their butt. It's kinda safe cave without paying rents. So some sea cucumbers like these blue guys have developed a door to block the intruders from entering the cave. It's called anal teeth, but it doesn't chew or grind though. So, anal fence would have been a better name, I guess. The body of the sea cucumber is unique. They can kinda liquefy their body and change like a jello to squeeze through tiny spaces, then change back to hard form again. Though they are cucumbers, they are not plants. They are animals, kinda like starfish, and people in many cultures actually eat them. Many people say they taste bad, with a tire-like texture, but I can't confirm it myself though. This is a cow, and cows are usually gentle animals. You may know they are herbivores, but they also eat meat and small birds if they need some extra nutrients that they don't get from plants, or maybe if they are hungry and there's no food around. It was reported in India in 2007 that 48 chickens were eaten by a cow in a month. Yup, these guys are kinda like camels, meat-eating herbivores. Cows usually align themselves in the north-south direction while resting or grazing, but no one knows why. And talking about grazing, cows love green grass. But most of you may not know that cows can't see green or red colors. They see grass as muddy yellow or gray. Cows are friendly animals, and they have best friends too. If you separate them, they can actually suffer from depression. Cows have an excellent vision of 300 degrees. But they can't see in front of their nose. Cows have very impressive memories. They can remember other cows and humans for many years. They can also hold grudges like crows. If you have hurt a cow in the past, well, don't visit it again. They have a super sense of smell and can smell something as far as 5 miles away. Cows are usually afraid of shadows and color patches. They probably think of it as a potential predator or some danger and try to avoid it. Cows don't have upper sets of teeth, but have a lot of taste buds, 2.5 times more than ours. But all they do is lick their nose. Most cows like sweet food, that's why their favorite food is molasses. Cows produce more milk when listening to soft jazz music. They love playing with other cows. It helps to strengthen their bond. Most of the cows are left-handed, or let's say, left-hoofed. Cows dreams when they sleep. Cows can be trained like dogs for following commands and solving puzzles. Cows are clean animals and poop far away from the resting place, if possible. Talking about poop, a cow produces around 60 pounds of dung in a day. That's enough methane to cook 2 course meals. In fact, some people in South Asia still use dung methane gas to cook food. Cows can sometimes have a fake pregnancy. Yup, They start giving more milk and start getting fat, just because they think they are pregnant. This is an ostrich. They are the largest birds on Earth, until now at least. This guy is spending a lot of money to bring back Moa, so this fact may not hold true after a few decades. Anyway, found mainly in the African continent, these long necks have a lot of weird properties. All birds excrete semi-liquid waste, like this, but ostriches are the only birds I know that pee and poop separately. Ostriches have unique legs. Hoofed-type feet with sharp claws make them super speed runners, with a top speed of 43 miles per hour. But when in danger, they sometimes just lay flat and play dead. What a waste of skills, I guess. But they also defend themselves. Their legs are so strong that they can seriously hurt a lion, or even kill it with a single kick. Ostrich lay the biggest eggs in the world. Its shell is super hard and won't break even if you stand on it, and weighs around 3 pounds. But do you know what's even bigger? Its eyes. Ostriches have the biggest eyes among land animals. Yep, they're as big as billiard balls. That's bigger than a horse's eyes. They can see 4 colors, including UV. In fact, the eyes are so powerful that they can identify predators over 2 miles away. You may have heard ostriches bury their head when they feel danger. Well, they actually don't do that. They lower their head while eating or caring for the eggs. From a far distance, it may look like burying, so people get the wrong idea about that. Ostriches have very small brains. Their brains are as small as a walnut. Well, the eyes hijacked all the space, I guess. Ostriches can sleep with open eyes. They do sleep with eyes closed too, but most of the time, they keep it open to see if any danger is lurking nearby. Usually ostriches are free-roaming animals, so keeping them in a small area may cause them depression. That's the reason some ostriches turn cannibal in captivity and start eating the chicks and eggs. Sometimes, captive male ostriches get attracted to farm people, rather than the female ostriches. Ostrich chicks have imprinting phenomenon. They think first thing they see is their mother. It can be anything from humans, dogs, or even the wall fence. Well, I can't blame them. They are kids after all. This guy is an octopus, and these are super amazing creatures. There are over 300 species of octopus. Some can be as small as thumbnail, while the largest recorded octopus had 30 feet arm span with 600 pounds of weight. They mainly eat small fish, crabs, and clams. Many scientists believe that these guys are alien species and came to Earth from outer space by panspermia. You'll soon know the reasons why. These 8-armed creatures have 3 hearts, and these hearts pump blue blood. Yup, octopus have blue blood. It's because they have copper in their blood. We have iron. The eyes of octopuses are kinda weird. They have no blind spots in their eyes. You can see the difference here. So their vision is relatively superior to ours. We have shape-changing lens, while they focus like cameras, by sliding the lens. And they can also see polarized light too. Scientists believe that they are colorblind, but the weird thing is they can actually see all the colors. Just think, an octopus can camouflage any color. How does it know which color to switch to? Some of you may think that their skin will automatically adapt to the surroundings. But what about the mimic octopus? They not only can camouflage, but can mimic other sea creatures with full color accuracy. Even scientists don't know how this truly works. Octopuses don't have bones and can squeeze through any hole that their beaks can pass through. And this is the size of their beak. Yup, this sized creature can pass through this sized hole. Octopus are super intelligent creatures. They can solve puzzles, solve mazes, and even open a jar lid from inside. Maybe it's because they have 9 different brains, I guess. Each arm of octopus has its own brain, and there is main brain in the head. That's the reason the arms of an octopus can move independently, even if separated from the body. Octopuses taste and smell with their suckers, so they use tentacles to check the food before eating. If an arm gets detached and there is food nearby, it will keep chasing the food, even for hours in some cases. When it catches the food, it will serve it to the mouth. Well, there's no mouth in this case. Also, don't worry about the detached tentacle. It will regenerate again soon. Well, if they could walk on land and breathe air, we would be I guess. But the sad thing is, they die after giving birth, and we'll talk more about that in the mating video. This guy is a cricket, and they kinda look like grasshoppers, but they are usually smaller and darker. Crickets are ultra-light insects, weighing less than a paperclip. You can say they are kinda like the aerogel of nature. Maybe that's the reason these tiny guys can cover over 3 feet in a single jump. The most common thing about crickets is that they make a lot of sound. But you may not know that only the males make the sound, and they do it by rubbing their wings together. There are over 900 species of crickets, and each species has its own sound. Maybe that's the reason why a group of crickets is called an orchestra. But there are non-chirping crickets too. Maybe they are not allowed in the band, I guess. Crickets are natural thermometers and can tell the temperature of their surroundings. If you count a cricket's sound for 15 seconds and add 40, you'll get the local temperature. If it chirps, let's say, 27 times in 15 seconds, then the temperature is 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Yup, it's called Dolbear's Law. You may ask what happens if the temperature is below 40. Well, they die. Crickets can taste with their legs and have ears just below the knees.
Technologia!
They are not for feeling vibrations, but for hearing sounds. They even have tympanum, like our ears. China has a long history of crickets. There's even a tournament called National Cricket Fighting Championship, held every year in China, where a team of people bring their pet crickets for a fight. And for the history of when it started, well, the rules they follow today were made in the 13th century. You got the point. This guy is a capybara, and these are the biggest rodents in the world. An adult capybara weighs as much as a snow leopard. Talking about rodents, many people think that rodents mean rat and rat-like creatures. But they are mammals with ever-growing incisors. Squirrels, rats, porcupines, guinea pigs, rabbits, all belong to rodentia. In fact, 40% of total mammal species are rodents. I'm sorry. Turns out, these guys are not considered rodents. They actually belong to Lagomorpha. He says rabbits have 2 pairs of incisors, and rodents have just 1 pair. By 2 pairs, it means like this, not like this. Okay, let's get back to these coconut fish. These sheep-sized guinea pigs are almost aquatic animals. I usually call them coconut fish, because they kinda look like coconuts, and live most of their life in water. They have webbed feet, submarines-like bodies, and can hold their breath for 5 minutes. They can sleep in water, kinda like this, and they even mate in water. They are so fish-like that the Catholic Church classified them as fish in around the 16th century. Why, you may ask? Because they wanted to eat them. The Pope probably said, "You were born mammal, but you are now a fish." And they started eating those fish. Yup, it's a weird story. It's kinda like California classifying bees as fish in 2022. But it was for bees conservation, though. Or so I heard. Capybara are social animals and stay in groups. If they don't find their own, they will group with other animals, even their predators. But if a predator attacks, they will just leave their kids and run away. Yup, though they act like monks, they choose their own life before their kids. A lot of animals, including caimans, jaguars, and pythons, eat capybaras. But if predators eat capybara, what's all those viral pics of capybara riding crocs? These fish can identify if a caiman or croc is hungry or full. Since capybaras are big, crocs usually don't attack them if they are not hungry. So, they simply avoid big hungry ones and go near full stomach or small ones. Capybaras sometimes use them to cross the water too. It acts as safety, as crocs and caimans won't usually attack another fellow member. So, it's not that they are brave, they just play it safe. You may all know that this big reptile is a crocodile. Many people think that crocodiles are overgrown lizards, but crocodiles are actually closer to birds than any other reptile. Yup, the archosaurs branched into 2 groups, standing ones and crawling ones. Standing guys turned to dino species, and later birds, and ground lovers changed to crocs and gators. So, dinosaurs and crocs are like sister branches, at least at the beginning. That's the reason crocs have among the highest bite pressure in the world. Talking about bite, these guys will bite anything. They eat birds, fish, deer, zebras, and even stones.
What?
Yup, Crocodiles swallow their prey without chewing. The stones help to grind the food before it reaches the stomach acid. Also, the stones are heavy and pull the stomach down. It helps them to store more air in the lungs and stay underwater for around an hour. Because of the strong bite force, crocodiles break and grow over 6,000 teeth in their lifetime. But the weird thing is, they can live without food for months, even up to 3 years in some cases. Crocodiles don't die of old age. If kept in good environment away from diseases and accidents, they can theoretically live forever. That may be the reason why they didn't go extinct while their cousins tapped out. They can slow their metabolism and lower their heart rate to 2 beats per minute, so they can easily survive eating just twice a year or so. But if you're near a crocodile, they can bite you, even if they are not hungry. And the reason is, well, they don't need reason for biting humans. If you think a water body is safe because it's still, well, you can be mistaken. When crocodiles move underwater, they don't produce ripples on surface. These things act as ripple cancellation, kind of like how noise cancellation works. They knew the technology before it was cool, I guess.
Technology!
Crocodiles are giant apex predators. They can be over 15 feet long and weigh over 1,000 pounds. Saltwater crocodiles can swim with the speed of 18 miles per hour and have a perfect shielded body. If you are not afraid of crocodiles, either you are lying or you have never seen a crocodile in real life. This guy is an eel, and eels are amazing water creatures. There are over 800 species of eels ranging from 4 inches to around 4 meters in length. So in short, eels are long snake-like fish with almost no scales and slippery mucus-covered bodies. When people hear about eels, they mostly think of electric eel. But there are no eels that can produce electricity. These guys are actually elongated knife fish. It may be shocking, and why won't it be? They produce over 800 volts of electricity. Though eels are found in ponds, swamps, or rivers, there are no true freshwater eels. Naturally, all the eels in the world give birth and die in the ocean. Though they live in rivers and lakes, they eventually travel to oceans during breeding time and die there. The journey can be as long as 3,000 miles. We'll talk more about that in the mating video. And talking about mating, no one actually knows how they mate. Eels' larvae are transparent and look totally different from the adults. For reference, this is an adult Saema eel, and it's the larva. But freshwater eels take it a step further. They get almost completely transparent like glass when it's time to migrate back home. They are called glass eels. The skin then slowly gets darker with time. Talking about skin, you might not know that most of the eels can breathe through their skin, kinda like frogs. European and American eels can even move out of water and slither in wet grass to visit nearby water sources. So, if you see an eel in an eel-less pond, it might have walked there last night. Raw eel blood is poisonous, so people cook them to neutralize that toxin. Even the Japanese people eat cooked eel sushi. Eels are excellent swimmers. They swim elegantly, but they can even swim backwards. They can even climb big obstacles like rocks and waterfalls when they return home from the ocean. There are a lot of eels with different shapes and properties. Some look like snakes, some look like whips, and some look like, I don't know what to call it, a balloon maybe. Moray eels are like xenomorph. They have a second pair of jaws inside their throat that come towards the mouth to catch the prey. Some eels like garden eels live their entire lives in holes, half buried in the sand, kinda like bobbit worms. When they wave with ocean current, they kinda look like plants in a garden. These are kinda satisfying to look at. If any predator arrives, they all pull back to their holes in a synchronized manner. Eels can live for around 70 years and reproduce only once in their lifetime. They have inbuilt maps with Earth's magnet as GPS, which they use to travel back home. And after returning home, the cycle continues. You might all know that this guy is a cockroach, and these are among the most hated creatures on the planet. The biggest cockroach in the world is Megaloblatta longipennis. This word here is Latin for wings, and it doesn't mean a long. You got the point, I guess. They have body length of 10 centimeters and wingspan of 20. But you won't see them. They live in the wild. In fact, Only 30 among the 4,600 species live with humans. So saying all cockroaches are pests is like saying all the spiders are venomous. Cockroaches are versatile creatures and don't die easily. They can survive 3 months without food, a month without water, a week without a head, and almost an hour without air. Talking about food, they eat almost any organic matter. They primarily eat human food, pet food, trash, dead insects, decaying matters, or even other cockroaches. Yup, they are cannibals. If food is scarce, they will eat wood, paper, glue, leather, fabric, soap, toothpaste, or even hairs and fingernails. And American roaches like bears. Many people don't know that cockroaches can fly. Even I didn't know that until I was 16. Cockroaches are very fast animals. They can run with the speed of 3 miles per hour. That's like humans running over 120 miles an hour. But what you might have never heard is that they can run with 2 legs too. Yup, they do it to sprint fast. They can even shrink their body to 25% of the original size while traveling through cracks. Cockroaches can withstand 900 times their body weight without injury. It's like 8 elephants sitting on you, and you walk away like nothing happened. Cockroaches are social insects. They live in groups, and even have personalities like shy and boldness. They can be trained too. Cockroaches are said to be the cleanest insects on the planet. Their body can produce antimicrobial fluids that can kill many pathogens, including bacteria. And they constantly clean their body with that fluid. If you touch these walking sanitizers, they will clean themselves, because they think our fingers are filthy. But they do carry diseases, and fart a lot. They fart 35 grams of methane per year. That's actually more than human methane production. But I couldn't find any trusted paper for that. So, it's a zombie fact according to my research. This guy is a woodpecker, and these guys are nature's drilling machines. They can peck trees with a rate of around 20 times per second, with velocity of 16 miles per hour. So, they have shock-suppressing bone in their skull. In addition, their tongue wraps around their brain to prevent the brain from shock damage. They mostly drill holes in old and dead trees. Since dead trees have insects inside, they drill the outer layer and use their long tongue, like anteaters, to grab and eat the insects. It's kinda like eye and their middle finger, if you remember them from the last video. Though they mainly eat insects, some species like great spotted woodpeckers eat eggs and chicks of other birds too. The woodpeckers peck trees for many reasons. They communicate through these drums. They make holes to eat insects, to make nest for their eggs, and even to advertise their maturity for mating. The thing I found the most weird is that they are not found in Australia, the land of exotic animal evolution. Talking about evolution, we'll be making a special episode in the entire history of evolution. I know you guys will love that video too. And as always, I love you guys.